So just briefly how is structured the course. The course is a 3 days introductory course on ethics and digital life. And it's a purpose every semester. For PhDs and master's students across ETH, so it's not a mandatory course. And we have space for 40 students. This course started as an in-person course, and then they had to switch online as most ETH courses. And we kept it so far online. We have 2 assessments, a poster and an essay at the end of the course that we grade. And usually per course, we have 3 to 5 facilitators, and usually 2 in-person, 2 frontal lectures, and then other forms of teaching that I will show you later. So, here, just to give you an idea of who are the students of our last cohort. So obviously this changes every semester, and to give you an idea, we had a lot of students this time from engineering and from biology often, but sometimes we had also architects and people from the guest department. So really a mixture of roboticists and the AI expert or computer scientist. So really a mixture. And so our course is an introductory one and tries to be, let's say, as dynamic as possible and try to sparkle interest from students coming from very different backgrounds. So in a nutshell, what is the aim of the course? I think it's important to remember that this is an introductory course. So we assume that people do not have any background in the field of ethics or in the way to approach scientific questions from an ethical perspective. And so the point is to raise awareness about the ethical and social issues emerging from new technologies, and also to train students' ability for critical thinking and ethical analysis to become more responsible researcher, developers in the future potentially, and citizen fundamentally. So I think our goals really alienate to those expressed by the previous presenters. And I think this is the main challenge, to really sparkle interest and ideas or question critical thinking and question everyday research and work from an ethical perspective. So here I just listed what are the learning objectives of our course. Again, is to explain relevant concepts in ethics. We also give an introduction in ethical theories, evaluate the ethical dimension of new technologies, again, asking questions like, is this technology raising some issues or not? Identified who are the stakeholders involved, something that I think it's somehow challenging for students, especially if they're students or researchers, when they're so focused in tackling their own task without looking at the broader picture. Engaging constructively in the discourse and try to formulate arguments and ideas, and also eventually defend their own ideas when challenged by somebody else. Reviewing also tools and resources that are available. So we provide ethical frameworks and principles. I will show some examples later, and also work fundamentally as scientists and developer and consumers in a more ethical and reflective way. So I thought it would be nice to provide you with the schedule of our course. So just to give you an idea of how many different methodology of teaching we try to include in our course, so that we try to keep students more engaged fundamentally and more active. And so some of these we have. Just to give you an idea, in red you can see we have lectures, we have an introductory video, we have group discussions, and then plenary discussions. So group discussion, basically on Zoom, we create these rooms, and we have 6 to 7, 8 students plus a facilitator discussing case studies and then reporting back to the plenary group. We have podcasts, so 2 sessions of podcasts where the students, especially during COVID time, we thought it would be nice to have some breaks from the Zoom and they can stand up and listen to the podcast and bring their questions back to the class when we resume the Zoom. And then we have, again, some individual work. So students have time to read through the case studies and reflect on the case studies themselves before participating in the group discussions. We this year introduced the role playing, which was really appreciated. I will show you, to talk about it a bit more later, and as well as a poster presentation and a map where they can could basically bring back all the content and the ideas that we discussed during the course together in one place. So it seems a lot, but I think we try to diversify again the methodologies to make it more interactive and more fun for them, and also to somehow engaging students who have different personalities and different approaches to things. And so maybe some of them are more talkative and they prefer the group discussions, while others feel more comfortable in writing down things and interacting in different formats. So one thing that I would like to say that it was really interesting for us is that this year we introduced this role playing that was basically a case study, but the students had to impersonate different characters. We divide them in group and they had to impersonate characters and then discuss as if they were in an ethical committee from the perspective of these different characters. And we saw that this is an activity that really it can be useful for them to kind of step out of their own shoes and look at issues from different perspectives. And this in the ethical reflection is really important. And so this definitely was an achievement of our course. And I would like to show you now what we use. So something that Eva mentioned before, throughout our course, we use this ethics resource platform. Is accessible to everyone having a Swiss University email address. So all of you can Google it and enter and explore the website. So here we keep all our case studies, but also codes and guidances relevant in ethics, and also other resources, digital tools, and so on. And we use this, for example, here you can see one of the cases that we analyzed with the students, so they have time to read through the case study, reflect on the ethical issues, and then we have group discussion conversations, and using the tools that we present in the lectures and in the podcast about, again, ethical analysis, ethical theories, ethical principles. They try to apply these tools and the frameworks to analyze these case studies. And usually it's really dynamic, and students are really engaged, especially because we don't have huge groups. And so each of them has the possibility to participate and to discuss. And then what we do is that basically the students at the end of, so the third day, as you saw from the schedule, the third day is dedicated to student presenting posters. So we basically have a session in which each student has to pick one of these case study and then write a poster that will be also the final poster that they will present or they will submit for assessment. But we give them the possibility to share their posters with their peers and with us, and to receive feedback. And we think that is really a nice strategy for them to let's say, also build some skills. And the idea then is that we have this session in the morning where they present to each other the poster, they get feedback. And then in the afternoon this year, we introduced for the first time this activity, which is, I'm sorry, it's really small, but it's just to give you an idea. this map on Miro platform. So basically we just wrote down the different case studies that the students chose, and per each case study, all the students are in the platform at the same time. They have 1 hour time to write down what are the ethical issues per each case study, who are the different stakeholders, how they are impacted, and what are the potential solution for the case studies. And then what we ask them is to think about how the different issues emerging in different setting and in different case studies can relate to each other. And this was the result of our like latest attempt to engaging students in this activity. And how, like, as you can see here, we had students that were really, like, we received usually really positive feedback from students. Most of them really this year liked the role play game and the mind map and the group discussion. This is obviously very subject to who are the students attending the class each semester. But in general, they really enjoyed our activities. Here again, a summary. They really rated positively the experience of the course. They really found it interesting, which for us is a good achievement. But also, most importantly, I would say they feel the course improved their understanding of ethics, and that somehow the workshop stimulate the reflection on the ethical issues. And this is also, we notice this because usually we receive it like some emails from students who reach out directly to us, to me, to my colleague who are the facilitators, asking for a question. We had, for example, a student this year that wrote me saying, look, I would have never thought about this issue if it wasn't for your course, and now I'm super interested. I read a lot of extra literature and I would like to have your opinion on these ideas I had about the topic. And I was really impressed and excited about this, because I was like, okay, we sparkle at least a bit of interest, sorry. And here also something we notice is that thanks to our course, most students also change their attitudes to ethics and technology. So I think most of them really are set, like have a more or dedicate more attention to ethical issues, and they have it in the back of their head. So when researching or developing technologies or buying technologies, they really think of the potential consequences of the technology and all the stakeholders involved, and how could they be impacted. And with this, I thank you very much. And I would like again to thank all the facilitators and people involved, not always all at once in the course, but these are all my colleagues, and some of them are, again, online here. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Thank you very much.